Here.
Here.
Here, but it's McCann and Lucas is not my brother.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
Phoebe Don.
okay, Phoebe Don. Welcome.
Okay, now we would like to have I'm gonna just mess this up. Could we have a motion to adopt the meeting minutes from December? Jack makes the motion. We have a second.
I have a question on the minutes.
Okay, go ahead.
I think it was the first vote that was taken. I think Jack was marked absent in the version I saw, and our attorney who was absent
Mark.
from the
Mark,
sorry, was his vote was recorded as a yes. I think
Oh, so that was just
I think
switched
that
around.
just needs
It
to
was
be
Jack
changed.
was here and Mark was absent. Yeah, okay, good. All right, that being the case, Jack, you still stand on the amended minutes? You're making the motion for the amended minutes?
and I'll second.
And John seconds. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Okay, we have one case on the agenda tonight, which I'm trying to read because I left my paper home. PLZBA 2022. Oh my God. 0110. It's 391, I believe, isn't it? 3rd Street. The applicant wishes to get a vacant building into a deli and a short 3 parking spaces. So if you would like to introduce yourself and tell us what you want to do, please. Hi. Did it work? Is that a microphone? You're probably better off holding it,
Okay,
if you don't mind. It's probably
Yeah.
easier.
it's fine. Lisa Rodriguez from TAP. And this is Walid Al-Magrafi. And I'll just briefly introduce the project. The building was, it's a 2-story building. The commercial space is a very small commercial space. It was last used as a barber shop, a long time as a barber shop. There's an apartment on the 1st floor and 2 upstairs. And it's a landlocked parcel. There is no parking associated with the parcel. I did make an error when I was outlining it on the Google Earth map. There's a little gated side yard that is part of this piece of property where he plans to put the garbage. And he's spoke to the landlord about that and they've agreed to let him put the garbage there. So I'll let Walid talk about his business.
Hi, everybody. My name is Walid, and planning to open a deli, like Mr. Saab, in South Troy. And there is a lot of parking space there. It's a corner building. It's a double lot building too. So, and it's like in a corner, so I don't think they're gonna be a problem. Park. There is one, I think, there is what sign there says 1 minute park. 1 hour park, yep.
Okay, so what are you gonna do? Change the downstairs apartment into a deli?
It's a formal barber shop. It's a,
So where's the apartment? In the back?
no, the apartment is in,
I'm sorry, I thought
In
Lisa
top.
said there was one on the bottom and 2 up.
There is. So
The deli's gonna be in the front,
on the corner, yeah.
right?
And then on the side street, there's an
Yeah.
entrance to the apartment.
Which is on the first
On the
floor,
first
so
floor,
I'd be back of the deli.
Yep.
And then the 2
upstairs,
upstairs. Got it, okay. All right, so what are your hours of operation and days?
it's gonna be from 7 to 11.
7 in the morning? 7 in the morning till 11 at night? Well, industrious. And how many days? 7 days a week, 7 in the morning to 11 at night. And what are you gonna sell in this deli? Just deli foods or, I mean,
Eat salads, soup,
but basically,
snacks, soap, beverages, small deli like. Mr. Sub, we bought the equipment that Mr. Sub used too, so it's all the same.
okay. Some questions for the applicant? Jack?
I don't know.
In a while.
I think so.
I think so.
It's a very small commercial space, maybe 500 square feet. So it's just a deli. It's not a convenience store. It's just a deli.
No alcohol, beer, no lotto.
Okay. All right. Okay, do we have anybody to speak in favor of this proposal? Anybody to speak in opposition?
Yes, Kathy, hello. I don't know if you can hear me on the virtual.
Fine.
Hi, Kathy, Chuck Conroy. I'm a resident I live right down the street from this property. I was at the Planning Commission meeting a couple of weeks ago and I had the opportunity to meet Waleed. You know, I'm here to voice concern on my behalf and also some of the neighbors over the use of this property for a, you know, individual person collecting type business like a deli. We've been working with the Planning Commission and having conversations with Waleed to try and mitigate some of these concerns. And what I would love to see is some kind of marriage or some kind of agreement with the Zoning Board of Appeals to have this parking variance follow or adhere to the criteria that we are setting in the Planning Commission meeting. Some of those concerns, I think 7 to 11 is massively excessive for a deli at this location. There is a fire, the one thing I want to mention, there's a fire hydrant that is right next door to this property, which I think is something that should be in consideration. We are going to be asking this prospective Waleed to adhere to some particulars, for example, no alcohol, which he has already committed to, no tobacco, and no convenience, and no lotto to be sold on the premises. Also some criteria potentially to limit the external, like some of those god awful neon lights and things like that some businesses have put up. So we're in coordination with Waleed, and I believe the city, hopefully Waleed, I'm not speaking out of turn here, but I hopefully the city has communicated some of these positions to you, and we can try and negotiate. But what I'd really like to see is if the Zoning Board of Appeals does feel that this variance is accepted, that at the very minimum there would be some consideration or connection to what the zoning board or what the Planning Commission is going to set forth as criteria for approval of this change of use.
Okay, thanks, Chuck. Does anybody else have any things to say? I don't think so. I don't know. I personally would agree with Chuck that 7 to 11 is a bit excessive 7 days a week. If I was going to go have a deli sandwich. Excuse me, Elena, go ahead.
If I can just interject, while I appreciate the comments of the residents and, I don't take up any position with respect to that, the purview of this board is to take into consideration specifically the parking.
Right.
And this board cannot legally put any type of conditions or restrictions specific to the use of the property, since this is an allowed use. That's something that, if they can work out with either with the planning board or otherwise with the applicant, then certainly they're encouraged to do so. And this board can encourage the applicant to listen to the residents' concerns, but this board cannot legally condition an approval on parking on anything that would pertain to the use of the building itself, since it's an allowed use in our zoning code.
Yeah, that's what I thought, that we were just here, we can only address the parking issue, and obviously nobody's going to park in front of the fire hydrant, I would hope, or they would get a ticket. And that building, Jack and I were just talking before, when I was a kid, my grandparents lived on that block, and it was a store, which Jack confirmed. I mean, it's always been a commercial use, my point. And that was more than a couple of years ago. So, taking that into consideration, does anybody on the board have anything else that to add as far as the parking is concerned? I would say, and I would go along with what Otis said and sympathize with what Chuck said, and informally support whatever the Planning Commission wants to do. Personally, as I said, I think 7 in the morning to 11 at night is a tad much, especially 7 days a week. But that's just my personal opinion. It's got nothing to do with the parking. So we want to say about the parking. It's a side lot quite across the street, and I don't know if the place across the street to the north, is that still a functioning,
It's it's kitty corner to the property, the park at St. Joseph's Church, as well as the Ukrainian church.
well, right, I'm talking about the place across the street from the Ukrainian church, to the west. of it.
That is now a residence. They've turned that previous storefront into an apartment. So
Oh.
there is no other commercial use in this corner or in this
Okay, all right,
intersection.
well, you probably wouldn't have more than 3 people in there at a time, so that all being the case, then we need a secret? I think we do. And I don't have any paperwork. Do you have it, John?
No, all I have is the.
Does anybody? Yeah, it is, but as far as the motion reads, Katie always has it. Paper. Can you do that, John?
Madam Chair. In regards to PL ZBA 20220110 and their request for a variance in relief of 3 parking spaces for the property at 391 Third Street, I'm going to make a motion that this is an unlisted action. And therefore, I'm going to recommend. Okay,
It's an unlisted action. Okay. Do we have a second to the motion that it's an unlisted action? Okay, on the motion, Evie Dandies? Yeah, John Normile. Jack? And I vote yes to approve on the secret. Now on the motion itself.
Madam Chair,
That's Evie's. That you can use.
pass that along in just a second.
Yeah. Thank you.
Madam Chair, in regards to the PLZBA 20220110 and their request for a variance in relief of requirement for 3 parking spaces, I'm going to make a motion that we approve this area variance. This is based on the following findings of fact. The variance requested will not create an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to nearby properties if it is granted because based on the discussions we've had here, this property has been used as a functioning commercial space and there was no impact on the neighborhood. Second, the variance can't be achieved by any other means available to the applicant. This is an urban neighborhood, landlocked property. There's nothing that the applicant can do. The variance is not substantial. We have spoken about this before the board, in that parking spaces are not always guaranteed in the city of Troy. And based on the nature of the business, this is a grab and go establishment. This isn't something where someone is going to park and stay for hours at a time. The variance will not have an adverse impact, effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood. Again, I'll refer back to our discussions about the property being used for years as a commercial establishment in an urban setting. And finally, the need for the variance is not self-created. This is a reflection on the density in the neighborhood. It's an urban neighborhood. So with all that in mind, I'm going to recommend that we approve the variance.
Okay, do we have a second? Jack seconds, and on the motion, Jack McCann,
This has been establishment since we were children as commercial use. We also, it's a street parking place. I would, and I know we don't have the authority to do this. However, I would suggest to the new proprietor, do not forget that St. Joseph Church will have services. I think they're up to 3 a day. I'm not on Sunday. I think it's 3 masses a day. I would suggest that you look into that. And if you can somehow figure a way to work with the church on maybe your hours aren't what they should be on Sunday. Just something, we don't have the authority to do that. However, it might be a good gesture on your part and the gentleman here, so I go to approve.
Okay, Edie?
Just two comments. One, I like the observation of the grab and go type of business, so people likely wouldn't be hanging around. And two, the fact that the place across the street from the church was commercial and now it's residential, I think shows that you know, there'd be less of a problem in terms of parking issues or competing parking issues. I vote yes.
Okay, and Kathy Conroy, I vote yes to approve also. Okay, good luck. Oh, sorry. I lost my head, John.
Madam Chair, I vote yes to approve.
Oh, darn. Okay. I apologize. Okay, that being said, you have 4 yeses. So good luck. Hope it all works out for you. You're welcome. And do you have a motion to adjourn?
Adjourn.
Okay, John. Second, on the motion, all in favor? Aye, opposed, carried. Yes.